Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, my wonderful sweet babies. It's Destined Choice, and you're watching Choice TV. So we have a lot of shit to talk about because, as you guys know, the infamous Kevin Samuels has recently passed away. According to the Atlanta PD, it's recently been confirmed, and his mother recently spoke out confirming his death. And the internet overall has been in shambles, and of course, a lot of people are having a fiesta because a lot of people are shocked that he's dead. Initially, I thought, just like many of y'all, that this was just some dumbass publicity stunt because, as you guys know, the media has been known to confirm deaths of many celebrities and entertainers without fact-checking, because the media has been known to report on deaths of celebrities and entertainers and influencers without actually fact-checking information before they put it out there, because everybody and their fucking mom wants to be first. Now, apparently he was with some woman the night he passed away, and come to find out, he ended up falling into a woman's lap and complaining about his heart issue. He consecutively refused to go to the hospital, and then within a few moments, his heart gave out, and the woman allegedly tried to perform CPR. His heart gave out, he fell into her lap, and long story short, she called the police instantaneously and called an ambulance. Now, as we all know, Kevin Samuels didn't make it through, and they instantly reported him dead the following couple of hours. In spite of Kevin Samuels passing away, this is not going to be one of those videos where I drag somebody after they just passed away. This isn't one of those videos. But I will, however, say that people have every right to still have their opinions about Kevin Samuels despite what happened to him. Now, I'll be honest. I, just like everyone else, have had some very interesting issues with Kevin Samuels.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
How much do you weigh?
That's none of your business. I told you I was fat.
Oh, okay. We don't play that shit on my channel. You get your big fat ass on somewhere then. I don't deal with you big sassy ass broads.
Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
If you think you can get out here and be like Danny's big ass, go knock yourself out. But I would be remiss to try to tell you, as an image consultant and as a person and a professional, that you can be 5'3" and weigh so much that you don't even want to tell somebody how much you weigh and think you're gonna get a man to marry you.
And honestly, I can't really blame anybody for not being sympathetic towards his passing. Now, one thing I do kind of find ironic is that Kevin Samuels is the same man who told many women that they were gonna die alone because they refused to lower their standards.
And if you don't change or moderate, you're going to die alone. That is what seemed to hit so many people hard in this thing. The whole dying alone. And what I don't understand is, how can we as such educated, intelligent people, business people, not realize that if you're single and you don't get married, you will die alone.
Media are now confirmed. Self-proclaimed relationship guru and viral YouTuber Kevin Samuels has died in Atlanta.
How ironic that Kevin Samuels ends up dying alone. Now, that's the butt of the joke that a lot of people are pointing out, but one thing I will say is this: Kevin Samuels didn't deserve what happened to him, and it's really unfortunate that his family has to deal with that, because Kevin Samuels is somebody's uncle, he's somebody's brother, he's somebody's relative, and I will give my own condolences, but I won't condemn anybody if they don't want to give their condolences and they're not sympathetic at all, because many commentators on YouTube who have been very critical of Kevin Samuels, and many people in general who have had issues with Kevin Samuels in the past, don't feel the need to be sympathetic, because truth be told, if someone don't fuck with you or like you, you can't really get upset if they find out something horrible happened to you. You know, if someone doesn't like you and some fucked up shit happened to you, can you really blame them if they just don't give a fuck and don't care to share their sympathy? Kevin Samuels is known and respected for being a father figure to many men and women who seek guidance on how they can find a substantial partner that they can build with later on in life and build a lucrative relationship with. But the distasteful side of Kevin Samuels is his brand is very much unempathetic. And I will say that it's one thing to not be a nice person, but it's another thing to lack empathy when the basis of your brand is to dissect people's issues, communicate with them, and unravel people's weaknesses and guide them to a better solution, considering Kevin Samuels is a self-proclaimed image consultant.
No, it's, first of all, I talk about dress size, not weight.
Okay, dress size, it's still in the same correlation.
No, it's not. It is absolutely not. You can wear dress size 6 or dress size 4 and have a different body composition because muscle weighs more than fat. See, I've accounted for that.
Oh, so you do know that.
Well, look here, smart ass. I'm the fucking image consultant, and I'm about to make a real bad day for you if you don't check that smart ass mouth talking to a grown damn man. This is the last warning, young lady, and it's gonna get real bad from here.
How's it gonna get bad?
Bitch, get off my phone. How about that?
Because let's be real, it's like a teacher calling you stupid just because you don't understand the assignment or the lecture. It just doesn't make any sense if you call yourself an image consultant. But I will say that it is what it is because it's a reason why he's catapulted into stardom and success because of his brutal honesty and his wittiness. Kevin Samuels' words of wisdom, words of encouragement, and unempathetic take has spoken to many narcissistic men and single men to the point that he's gotten mainstream recognition from mainstream celebrities like T.I. and Tiny, Tommy Lee, of all people, Summer Walker, who infamously mentioned Kevin Samuels in her song Unloyal, Future, who recently did an interview with Kevin Samuels on his YouTube channel, and most notably, Nicki Minaj. You know, at first glance, when I do see people saying that they're not sympathetic and they don't really give a fuck, I'm like, okay, come on, have a heart. But then when you see these clips being reposted and resurfaced, I'm like, oh, okay.
You ranked yourself, honestly, if you ranked yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank? Yeah, let's get back to reality.
No, I'm in reality.
No, you're not in reality.
I'm in reality.
You're not in reality. If you're gonna be a 10, we can end this because that's not reality. You're not a supermodel.
So what are you basing?
You're not okay, man. Check the attitude. Check the attitude. Let me just go ahead and say this. This bullshit that's running around with black women. They call yourself a 10. Never say you don't. That is some of the most destructive psychobabble.
Yeah, now I know why. You know, and I kind of understand it to an extent. Because truth be told, he wasn't really a nice guy, and I can't really get upset when people don't really bat an eyelash because a public figure passed away. You know, the same thing can apply for XXXTentacion. If y'all didn't know, XXXTentacion was a very famous rapper who made that song Look at Me, he made that song Moonlight, and he was a very successful artist in general, and many people respected him. But one thing I will say is XXXTentacion was not a very good person. He did some fucked up shit to a lot of people. He was always in some nonsense. He was out here blasting rappers. He was a troll. You know, he did bullshit and nonsense, was always in scandals. On top of that, he was in a situation where he psychologically and emotionally abused his girlfriend, and she was abusive to him too, but he was gruesomely abusive, and she filmed the whole thing and sent it to blogs.
Happiness in another person, which was a mistake initially, right? But she fell through on every occasion until now. Until I started fucking her up, bro. But I started fucking her up because she made one mistake. And then from there, the whole cycle went down.
On top of that, she also sent pictures of her getting beat up by XXXTentacion, and then there were photos of her with bruises all over her face. On top of that, there were recordings of him saying that he was gonna shove something sharp up her damn coochie and shit. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? The point I'm trying to make is people are allowed not to mourn others who they deem as irredeemable. Kevin Samuels credits his upbringing on growing up in the 80s, and he also credits his upbringing from growing up in the church, growing up in a traditional blue-collar family, and also being a part of the Kappa fraternity at OU University. Kevin Samuels started a segment on his YouTube channel during the pandemic where he had his viewers call in and asking for life advice. And initially, it started off with just advice to men, considering most of his content initially started off catering to males. Kevin Samuels' following eventually expanded to women, and these women were searching for advice from a male perspective. And at this point, Kevin Samuels had just rapidly grown to 70,000 subscribers, averaging just a couple thousand views an upload. Then the infamous Your Average at Best video released, causing a massive storm on social media.
6-figure income, jawline, all this other kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, man. No. Most people get average people, especially average people. And you're an average person. I mean, let's be real. You're not running Microsoft. You got a pet grooming business. You've been making 6 figures for the last 3 years. Okay. All the eyelashes and all the hair. What do you look like under there?
I mean, I look the same. I'm just...
No, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have all that on.
In order to fully submit, I have to feel like he's in.
Well, then you're gonna die alone. How about that? Let me just cut to the chase, ma'am. You can feel like what you want to, but women like you die alone.
Now confirmed. Self-proclaimed relationship guru and viral YouTuber Kevin Samuels has died in Atlanta.
And ever since that video, Kevin Samuels catapulted and shockingly became a massive star in pop culture. Many people thought his take on things were very gruesome, insensitive, and very disrespectful because of the way he treated her and the way he spoke to her, considering she looked to him for guidance. Kevin was rightfully condemned for his delivery.
They're participating in the attacks and slander against the black female community, and that's not acceptable.
Is a fucking scammer and con artist. And the sad thing is, he is scamming all these men that are following him. I just can't believe grown-ass men are tossing their money to him like he's some sort of stripper on a pole.
But many people went as far as trying to blast his personal life on the internet and also alluding to rumors about his sexuality that he's apparently and allegedly hiding. Kevin Samuels merely just reminded the woman that she simply just wanted a man because she didn't want to end up dead and alone, because she didn't really have a concise idea of what she wanted. Which, to be fair, is a common issue many women and sometimes men have, where they end up settling for some stupid relationship and they have these ridiculously high standards just for the sole purpose of self-sabotaging themselves, where they're not even sure what they want, so they ask for too much because they know nobody will fulfill, because they prefer to die alone because they don't feel like they're worthy of happiness, so they refuse to lower their standards. And that's all Kevin Samuels kind of put a mirror to. Or in many cases, women oftentimes rush into submission because women have been preconditioned to believe that their worth is interconnected with their age. So in many cases, many women will rush into a relationship with just any and everybody just to get the bare minimum of what they want. So a lot of times people have a hard time accepting what he had to say because he is a male and can only speak from a male perspective. Now, Kevin Samuels might have had a lot of knowledge due to his old age and due to experience, of course, but Kevin Samuels paints a wide brush based on societal standards, and truth be told, you are the only one that defines happiness, and with billions of people in the world, someone is bound to give you what you want, regardless of your standards. Must I remind you that someone like Rihanna got married and is having her first child at 34 years old? And must I remind you that Janet Jackson had her first child at 50 years old? Things happen when they happen. But the issue is Kevin Samuels did shatter a lot of women's self-esteem by telling them by the time they hit their 30s, they become less valuable.
But if you have made it to 35 years old and you're unmarried, you are a leftover woman. A leftover woman. You are what is left. Men know that there's something likely wrong with you. Whether you want to hear it or not, I'm going to just go there with you. I'm telling you the truth that you don't want to hear. Men know that there's something likely wrong with you, but you cannot be fit in an adjustable 6 or higher, 35, unmarried. Something wrong with you.
To be fair, a lot of what Kevin Samuels said was a little justified, because let's be honest, if somebody does have their shit together, they are a certain age, and they do look great, why are they single? He has a point. But again, men are different all over the globe. Many men do share the same traditional values, but a lot of men are different, and it's all about personal perception and perspective. And just because one person doesn't want you and will rather go for the woman in her early 20s, that doesn't mean he won't go for the woman in her 30s. On top of that, there are many men who may be way older than you, who may even be in their 50s and 60s, who are willing to settle down with a woman who's 35 years old. Like I said, things happen when they happen, and I do feel like a lot of his perspective was based off of his own biased outlook. Again, this is coming from a man who has been divorced and has been engaged twice. So it's kind of difficult for me to take him seriously when he dates younger women, specifically a lot of times escorts. But I will say that he encouraged women to lower their standards, rightfully so, and compromise. But there's a fine line between settling and compromising, and you should never really settle for less than what you want. A lot of men take, tolerate, and do different things in different ways and are willing to appreciate certain things and allow certain things, and they have no issue with it. Some men are willing to be for hypergamy. Some men are willing to date plus size women. Some men are willing to date a woman with kids, and some men are willing to play stepdaddy. But I think the issue with Kevin Samuels was he oftentimes compared a lot of the women that he was speaking to his type and his preference.
But you know what? Lizzo says the same stuff. Let her tell her she's a bad bitch.
She's bigger, but she's beautiful.
And then when she went to shoot her shot at Chris Evans, she got shot down. She's not, that body is not beautiful. And that's part of our problem. We've told women like that they're beautiful, and they've made it to where I look at young women like you and you're distorted. You look at that and say beautiful, and I look at men who see Lizzo naked and they're disgusting.
There are also men that look at her and think she's pretty.
You're right. You're saying Lizzo was beautiful. To whom?
To men that are into bigger women. Like, they exist. I feel like when you say those things, you...
Yeah, they exist. And are those men typically high-value, extremely successful men?
I can't say.
That's bullshit. You can't say. Yes, you can.
Now, with all due respect, in spite of Kevin Samuels passing away, who the fuck did he think he was saying that most typical high-value men won't find Lizzo attractive. Bitch, high value to what standards? It's almost like he's comparing himself as high value and he's deeming himself as perfect. It's almost like you would think that as he's talking to these women, you would think that he'd probably be playing matchmaker with them, as if he's probably looking for a woman for himself. And I will say that every time Kevin Samuels was oftentimes debated or people tried to challenge his thinking and he would be hesitant or hesitating, he would do narcissistic bullshit like gaslight people and deflect anytime somebody challenged him. Now, there were many cases where he shut somebody down in an argument, which rightfully so in many cases. But there were other times where women had a lot of reasonable rebuttals, but he couldn't even come up with a reasonable point, or he was just saying some bullshit because he felt awkward and ridiculous for making assumptions about nothing.
Now I would say average because
Okay,
I'm not
so
working.
I need you to understand something. You're 28.
Mm-hmm.
28 with 2 children, and one of us an infant, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're 5'5", almost 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
If that ain't below average, I don't know what is. Stop it! You're almost 300 pounds. Talking about you can pull guys.
Thing I can fix that.
You're gonna pull a hamstring trying to walk. You're below average.
If that's what you believe, but that's
What
not
makes
what
you
I'm-
above average? What makes you above average? Or what makes you average? How about that?
What makes me my mind, my personality.
Okay.
Those
And
two things
did you
together-
graduate high school?
I'm sorry?
You graduated high school, yes?
I have my GED.
Okay, you have a below average. You can't even get to high school. You can't even get a diploma.
I'm in college.
You got a GED. It's not a diploma.
That doesn't matter. It's the same
And you're
thing.
in college for what?
Accounting.
Okay. Oh. I'm really trying to help, but go ahead. Go ahead and tell us how your mind. Excuse me?
This is the problem that I have. This is the problem that I have is that the father of my children listens to you. And see, he's already.
He should. He should run.
He's already arrogant. No,
He should run.
I'm not with him.
Because he's probably running. You can't catch him.
You know, it's a lot of times where, you know, he can kind of dish it, but he couldn't really take it. So I kind of understood why a lot of people didn't like him, because anytime someone challenged him, it was all about his narcissistic views and his narcissistic ways and how he views the world and how he sees it through a linear scope. The man is funny as fuck and very entertaining, but it is very distasteful that when someone tries to challenge you, you get defensive. And I will say, to play devil's advocate, Kevin Samuels did sporadically keep the same energy with men in some cases.
Big dick?
Huh?
You have a big dick?
I mean, it's above average. I ain't no Ron Jeremy.
No. I asked you if you had a big dick. I didn't say it was above average.
I don't know what that is, really.
Nigga, you know if you got a big dick or not. Stop the bullshit. Every dude know whether or not he got a big dick. I know I got a big dick. You don't know?
I mean,
you don't have a big dick. That's the point. You don't have a big dick. You don't have a big wallet. You a fat dude. And you got a lot of nerve thinking you should get choosing signals at 5'10" and 300 pounds, making less than $1,000 a month at 20 years old. And women should approach you. What they get, they don't even get a big dick.
However, the thing is this. Kevin Samuels got the most engagement whenever he'd be grilling women with their high standards and their issues and their insecurities and their absurd preferences, age gaps, and condemning them for not fitting his quota for what he deems as attractive based on his own shallow perspective.
I am 5'4" and I weigh 200 pounds, so I'm thick.
It's not thick. That's obese.
Okay.
I'm 6'4" and you weigh as much as me. That's not thick, it's obese.
You want my measurements?
I don't care, it's obese. More than a 30 BMI is obese, man. 5'4", 200 pounds is larger than the average running back.
I will say that Kevin Samuels was very entertaining, and I would sometimes pop into one of his videos because of how funny he was. And I will say that a lot of times his videos did hold a lot of weight. There were many things that he often did say that I said, okay, wow, that makes a lot of sense, and I agree with him. And there were many things that I respectfully disagreed with. But there were many things that I feel as though were very out of pocket and were very biased. I will say that he definitely had a very negative habit of viewing men and women in different standards. And truth be told, I understand because men and women are virtually very different. Men and women are equal humanly, but men and women are not equal in many other ways. Psychologically, physically, privilege-wise, men and women will never be seen as equal because it's never been like that since the dawn of time. Because let's be fair, his rating scale against women was a little bit unbearable and very cringe-worthy to watch. But to be fair, a lot of women do rate men as well. A lot of women rate men based on the possessions that he owns, the money he has, his career, if he's worth bragging to their mothers and friends, how large his genital area is, the kind of shoes he has on, the kind of car he drives, how tall he is, his attractivity, and then in many cases, his personality comes last. So I do feel as though that Kevin Samuels kind of had a point when he was rating these women on a scale from 1 to 10, but I do feel like his approach in many cases were very distasteful and unnecessary. To me, it's kind of a mystery to me how Kevin Samuels even became so popular. I mean, I get it, he's entertaining, he's witty, he's blunt, he's honest, but there are so many men who have been doing this on YouTube for so many years. These relationship gurus have been around for a long ass time. They've been around for decades. I've seen them on YouTube come and go and come and go and come and go. Some of them were subtle, some of them were very red pillish, some of them were very conservative, some of them were very feminist-like, some of them cheated on their fucking girlfriends / wives, and some of them didn't practice what they preach behind the scenes. I will say that these relationship gurus come and go, and it was very difficult to sometimes take the relationship gurus seriously because it's funny how a lot of these relationship gurus are, once again, single as fuck and claim they know how to attract a high-value woman, claim what they know what a high-value woman is, claim that they're high-value men them damn selves, but yet they all single. Only relationship guru that I really will give a lot of credit to is someone like Steve Harvey because he has successful books, he has a successful marriage, and much more. So it's easy for me to take Steve Harvey seriously because he'd be considered a mainstream social media, very popular pop culture relationship guru. But it's difficult for me to take someone like Kevin Samuels seriously. On top of that, Kevin Samuels also has a lot of copycats that make content similar to him, make content inspired by him, and say a lot of the same shit that he does or made YouTube channels because of him. And it's very difficult for me to take a lot of these grown-ass men that have been around for years, men like Kevin Samuels, men who were inspired by Kevin Samuels seriously, when I look at these dusty-ass motherfuckers, and I be like, if you're high value, where's your high value bitch? If you're high value, where's your high valueness? You consider yourself high value because you have a biased perspective of what you deem as high value. And that just shows me that many humans, truth be told, are very narcissistic, egocentric, and self-absorbed, and they want to be the best of the best. Everybody wants to believe that they're a good person. Everybody wants to believe that they're great at sex. Everybody wants to believe that they're ridiculously successful. Everybody wants to believe that they are what they say they are, or they are the best of the best. That's like taking relationship advice from your dirty, ugly ass, dusty ass, bum ass best friend that's single as fuck, but yet still got all this fucking advice for you on how you can keep your man. That's like a fat bitch giving you dieting advice. But yet, people respected Kevin Samuels' approach because he was brutally honest and he was finally giving men a voice. Because the truth is this, considering all the demonization of males in the entertainment industry, in the media, and in society, a lot of males are pretty much fed up. Males have pretty much dealt with a lot of bullshit in the past couple of years because of the uprise of struggle feminism, female empowerment, or struggle female empowerment, promoting a negative image of fuck dudes, get money, and much more. And a lot of these same women who teach you how to be a boss and how to be a happy and blessed and boss and successful independent woman not needing a man for shit are the same women who are in committed relationships. So, I mean, we can't really hold a lot of these relationship gurus accountable for being trash and spreading dangerous messages and having a biased perspective on how they think feminism and womanhood should work. I get it. That's their opinion. Some of them sound fucking insane.
Whole like sex is for men and women should just do it for the man thing. That got me. I was like, whoa, you know, like sex should be for both people, not just for the man, you know. Even if you say it's in the Bible or whatever, you know, like that's just how I feel.
Okay, well, how you feel doesn't correlate with reality. We operate here on facts, not feelings. Sex is a woman's duty. I gave a the uncomfortable fact that men deal with women 99% of the time for sexual access. If it wasn't for sex, men would not get married and tie themselves down.
But to be fair, let's be honest. Women celebrate these female artists and female rappers and uplift them and give them a platform. So let's be honest and keep the same energy here. Realistically, a lot of people are just toxic, and I think it's important to call out everybody's wrongs. A lot of these men are wrong, and a lot of these women are wrong, because a lot of these people are just unempathetic and need some serious therapy and some soul searching before they tie themselves down to a relationship. To say that we can't hold Kevin Samuels accountable because he's dead, or we can't have our negative opinions about him anymore because he's dead and we should stay silent is ridiculous, because yeah, he passed away. You know, I hope his family is okay, but you know, he said some fucked up shit that people still can hold him accountable for, and he said some shit that was very questionable that people still have the right to criticize him for. Because if people can still criticize people like Hitler, if people can still criticize people like Michael Jackson and many more people who were heavily loved and appreciated, why can't we talk about Kevin Samuels? You know, I don't really bat an eyelash when people say they don't really give a fuck, you know, what happened to him. They don't really care, because for a lot of people, he triggered a nerve. You know, although he was more so holding a mirror up in front of people's faces and he was being as honest as he possibly could, because in most cases he was being honest, I do feel as though that because of his approach and his delivery, a lot of people weren't very fond of him, and that's perfectly fine. People weren't fond of him because his delivery a lot of times was very distasteful and abrasive and extra. And there were a lot of women who had a lot of low self-esteem who got on there and got absolutely nothing because they didn't appreciate his approach. You know, women got on there asking for advice on how they could be blessed and happy, and the first thing they're told is you got to lose some weight. And truth be told, he might have a good point in many cases, but in other cases, what if somebody's happy with being plus size? You know, it's perfectly fine to be a plus size woman. Yes, I understand his perspective is the common man wants a woman who's in shape and has a nice body. And I do feel as though he had a point if he felt as though that if a woman who has high standards about hypergamy, what she wants, she needs to be willing to adjust to change and be willing to be easy on the eyes. You know, he's basically tried to imply that if you want all these amazing things, you need to learn how to assimilate and be able to compete with other women. That's kind of how I viewed it. He felt like you have to be able to compete with other women, because if a man sees another pretty face and a nicer body, he's just going to leave you and cheat on you anyways. But then again, I feel like it's kind of an oxymoron, because, I mean, shit, Jay-Z ugly as fuck and he cheated on Beyonce. I mean, no offense. And then he also, you know, was very critical about people's looks. And it's weird because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know, there are a lot of people who I don't think are attractive at all, but the world thinks they're fucking gorgeous. I look at someone like Idris Elba and I think he's a very average, basic looking dude, but yet people think he's fucking stunning. I look at someone like Tiana Taylor and people think she's fucking gorgeous. And I look at her as like an average chick that I would see walking down the street in the dusty streets of Brooklyn or the dusty streets of the Heights in New York City. And I can say the same thing for someone like Bella Hadid. I think Bella Hadid is a average, basic looking chick. So I'll be honest, Kevin Samuels was definitely a force to be reckoned with, and I will say that he definitely stood the test of time and people will always remember him for what he was, because of his popularity, of course, but he is living proof that society just likes abrasive and honest people. I mean, look at people like Judge Judy. She's heavily criticized all the time for having a very nasty and very brutally honest approach, but yet she's still ridiculously successful, the highest rated court show on television. And then we have people like Simon Cowell, who's ridiculously praised and very successful. Then there's Gordon Ramsay, who's one of the most respected chefs in Hollywood, and yet people still love him despite him being very abrasive. Now, it's a shame that he passed away at only 57, because this shit really does remind me to take my damn sea moss, my damn turmeric, and my damn vitamins, because truth be told, Kevin Samuels was fucking up them damn Red Bulls. Every single live stream, you would see a cup of Red Bull next to him, and he would be drinking them shits like water. Kevin Samuels invoked a lot of productive dialogue. Everybody's talking about high value this, high value man, and now you see it in every podcast video where almost every single person wants to start a podcast and talk about what you bring to the table, what women bring to the table, what men bring to the table. But the truth is, many of you motherfuckers can't bring shit to the table because many of you guys refuse to get fucking diagnosed. Many of you guys refuse to hold yourself accountable, and many of y'all are still ridiculously self-absorbed. So the truth is, many of y'all watching this probably don't have shit to offer to the table and should really just focus on yourself. Truth is, many of y'all don't need to be worried about trying to find a high-value man or a high-value woman when you should really just be worried about being a high-value person and just taking care of yourself, your mental health, spiritually, physically, mentally, and making sure you can be the best version of yourself. The truth is, just be a good person and eventually all the good things that you want in your life will come to you. Just be a good person and everything will follow through and come into fruition. Just focus on yourself and be the best version of yourself, and eventually you'll attract everything that you are. Because if you're attracting the same kind of guys and the same kind of girls, I will say that maybe you're just a bad man, or you're just a bad woman, or you're not a good person. Because if you're attracting constant bullshit and constant self-absorbed people, people who ain't shit, people who play you, people who lie to you, maybe you just have a negative and nasty habit of just ignoring red flags. Maybe there's something internally wrong with you for allowing that kind of energy. But all in all, that's all I got to say on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and see what I mean when I say why a lot of people don't like Kevin Samuels and why people hated him. So again, I don't really give a fuck that people aren't sympathetic. I wish him and his family condolences and shit, but I don't bat an eyelash when I see people not really empathetic, because it's the same thing for Wendy Williams, you know? Wendy Williams did a lot of fucked up shit back in the day and said a lot of fucked up shit back in the day, so it's very difficult for me to kind of, you know, feel bad for Wendy Williams when she's going through all this shit. I can say the same thing for Charlamagne when Charlamagne was going through all this shit because, you know, him allegedly sexually assaulting that woman was resurfacing. You know, I kind of don't feel bad for Charlamagne when all this shit was coming to fruition. I don't feel bad for a lot of these entertainers and celebrities that have resurfaced tweets, because the energy you put out is the kind of energy you'll get back. But that was that for this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Please be sure to join my Patreon. It's only $2. Please be sure to listen to my podcast, stream my podcast on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud. Follow me on Instagram. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know what y'all think about Kevin Samuels. What's your approach? How do you feel about, you know, him passing away? How do y'all feel about a lot of people not having sympathy? And how do you feel about his content as a whole? And did any of the things that he said in this video trigger you, bother you? And just let me know what y'all think overall. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, that's that. Enjoy the music. Timeout is over. This is dedicated to Kevin Samuels and all the average women out there, all the fat women and more. Been 5 months since you went away, left without a word and nothing to say, nothing to say, when I was the one who gave you my heart and soul, but it wasn't good enough for you, no. And I asked God, God send me an angel from the heavens above. Send me an angel to heal my broken heart from being in love. 'Cause all I do is cry, cry. God send me an angel, wipe the tears from my eyes. And now I know might sound crazy, but after all that I still love you. I wanted you back in my life, but there's something you have to do. I wanted to work the day can't have my love no more. My heart can't take no more lies, and my eyes are all out of Christ. So God send me a Kevin Samuels from the heavens above. Send me a Kevin Samuels to heal my broken heart from being in love. Ooh, God, now all I do is cry, cry. God send me an angel, wipe the tears from my eyes. Oh my God, I'm going to hell. Yeah, that's all you guys get for free. Thank you so much. Choice out this bitch. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Shout out to all the average women out there. Thank you. Tell Beyonce she got some competition. Album on the way.